The presenting part's an interesting part. Most people go straight to the presentation. We're just so happy that someone's agreed to see our proposal or someone's entertaining the thought of hiring us or whatever the case may be. We go straight to, all right, I'm not going to take much of your time. Here's what I'm here to talk about. The presentation isn't going to be anywhere near as effective. When I'm here to tell you about what I'm selling, when I'm here to tell you about my idea, my concept, it isn't going to work if we don't have some kind of connection there. Why? I don't really know what you're into. It's amazing when we talk about ourselves or we present our product or our company or the service that we provide, that what we see is not always what the other person sees. But we need to ask questions, we need to get to know the person so we can shape our presentation. The other part is a lot of people rely too heavily on things like PowerPoint. The PowerPoint is there to support you. You're not there to support the PowerPoint. You can gauge whether the person is interested or not. You can speed it up or slow it down. You can focus on specific areas if you are the one doing the presenting, as opposed to just a slideshow, which is just going through and through and through. The interesting thing about when we are telling the person about what it is we have to offer is that it's funny that most people don't really care 100% about everything. We look at things and find the things that we like about them. And that's the stuff we hone in on. I had an interesting example. We had a wonderful training package, it was a few years ago, a wonderful training package which we were presenting to a CEO of a fairly large company. And the people that we'd been dealing with up to this presentation were all about the presenting to build value, all about profit, all about how can we highlight our products in a much better way. So our presentation was obviously arranged that way. But the CEO that I was presenting to didn't seem that interested. He was looking at what we were offering. The presenting thing for value, no, wasn't doing it for him. But when we started to talk about how the fact that we found a byproduct of this presentation of training led to the salespeople making more money, which led to less staff turnover, that made him pick up. That got his attention. The thing that I thought was interesting about what we had to offer was different from what he thought was interesting. And again, the connecting part is how we find out about that. What are they into? The old cliche in selling is that we sell the way that people want to buy. We need to ask them questions before we find out how they want to buy. It's important that we look at ourselves and our company and our product, not through our eyes, but we put the person in front of us, we put some glasses on that are shaped with their thoughts and ideals and prejudices. We need to look at what we offer through their eyes. Sometimes we see something completely different. And by the way, something I will say is that I was saying about the importance of connecting with the person. I'm pretty sure that at one time or another, everybody in the room has been in a situation where they are selling an idea or doing a presentation to someone, and it just didn't feel like there was going to be time for chit-chat. The person in front of you has been, can we just get to the point? Can we just, tell me about, look, I'm very, very, very in a hurry. Can you just get to what it is you're selling? We have to use the presentation part during that to connect. And if you are relying on your PowerPoint presentation, then that's the thing that's going to do the selling for you. But if you are the one who's doing the presenting and the PowerPoint is the thing that is supporting you, then you can use the presentation phase as the opportunity to connect. This human part is so important. When we are suggesting an idea to someone, whether we want them to invest in our business idea or our company, or maybe we'd like the person that we work for to adopt this particular aspect or viewpoint or product or service or idea, it comes down to this incredibly important question. So important that on the PowerPoint it says very, very, very. What I'm talking about is how it'll make their life better. That's the question that we're all asking. How will this make my life better? And sometimes we do it even in a subconscious way. We don't actually think, how will this make my life better? But that's what we're looking for. How will this make my life better? We can dazzle someone with facts and figures. We can go in armed with data to the teeth about saying, hey, this is why you should adopt my point of view. But unless we can connect the data and the facts and figures with how it'll make their life better, our presentation has failed. When we are pitching this idea, we have to be able to say, this is how it'll make your life better. Negotiating is an interesting area. Also, I feel a bit weird talking about this because the session after this, anyone going to the session after this, is on what? It is on negotiation. And you know there's a chance that he may say the absolute opposite to what I'm about to say. Seriously. I will explain both sides of the argument. Negotiating is a funny thing. People hate it. Anyone have any thoughts on why people hate it? Yes, sir.
They see it as conflict, and most people are conflict averse.
Well done, sir. I absolutely agree with that. Adversarial. We're going to have a winner and a loser. I don't want to be the loser. I don't want to get spanked. Well, not in that bad way anyway. People see it as adversarial. He's absolutely spot on. We go in there thinking, I don't want to be the loser in this. I don't want to embarrass myself. I don't want to lose money. I don't want to give away too much. I don't want to be seen as being silly by asking for a ridiculous amount. There are so many fears that people have associated with negotiation. It's like so many other aspects of managing this relationship, and that is there are actual steps and principles. We're going to talk about a couple of them now. I had an interesting moment. It wasn't that long ago. I was doing a 2-day training course, and on the second day, I happened to meet the partner of one of the people who was attending the training course, and he said to me, I was fascinated to read the study guide that my partner took home yesterday. Absolutely amazed to read about negotiation. I didn't know anything about it. And I said, what do you do? And he said, I'm a lawyer. Seriously, I swear to God, this is true. 4 years of law school, and he said, no one taught me how to actually negotiate. I was like, wow, that's amazing. So what area of law are you in? And he said, I look after claims for injuries as a result of work accidents or car accidents. Said, is there a lot of negotiation in that? Oh yeah, lots, heaps. Absolutely amazed. Absolutely amazed that there are these principles that apply that so many people who you'd assume don't know them. We'll discuss a couple of them today. One is, who starts the negotiation? This is a real big bone of contention. Who starts the negotiation? And I apologise in advance if the person that you're about to see actually gives you the opposite view of me, Sarah. But anyway, who starts the negotiation? There is a school of thought that says you should go first. People hate going first. They absolutely hate it. You have, say, 2 guys selling a barbecue. One of them gets his new 4-burner jobby and he goes to his neighbour who he knows doesn't have a barbecue and says, oh mate, I've just got a new barbie. The other one's still pretty good. Did you want to take it off my hands for a few bucks? And the other guy says, yeah, sure. How much did you want for it? Oh, mate, I don't know. Whatever you think it's worth. No. Well, how much do you want? Oh, look, mate, I don't know. Just a couple of bucks. Whatever you think it's fair. People do that all the time. You know? You hire the job. How much do you want to be paid? Well, how much do you think I'm worth? Yeah. Why do people do that? Why do people do that? In terms of the negotiation aspect of it and not wanting to go first, there's fear of being seen to be silly. Oh, I'm not worth that. It's not worth that. They'll laugh at me. They'll walk away. My company's not worth that. The product is not worth that. The product's what you think it's worth. It's a lot of times has to do with our insecurities. The reality is that I guess both sides can work, but I lean towards one, and I'll explain why. The suggestion that the other party goes first in the negotiation is quite popular. There's Mark McCormack wrote a book called Things They Don't Teach You at Harvard Business School. Has anyone read that book? He says you should go first. Reason why? The other person shows their hand. We see what their strategy is, and we get to organise and plan our counterattack. You can't really argue with that logic, can you? It sounds pretty fair to me. Okay, here's the counterpoint, and this is the one that I subscribe to. And that is that when you go first, you anchor the negotiation your way. You anchor the negotiation your way. There's actually been very little study of negotiation in laboratory tests and controlled tests. Why? Because whenever we do something that taints or affects the atmosphere in which we're testing this negotiation, We change the emotional content. And negotiation is so heavily weighed on emotion. More than we know it. Be fear, the desire to win, or whatever the case may be. So that it's very difficult for them to study negotiation. But there's a book, Adam Galinsky wrote a book called Negotiation. And what he did was took data from salespeople who were working for similar types of companies. And they discovered that when the salesperson went first in the negotiation, the profit was always higher. When you go first, the outcome leads more towards you getting what you want. Now you think about it. When someone, we watched some of those reality TV shows where the housey one, my wife watches it. You can tell I'm right into it. But when they have the auctions out the front and things aren't going low or the first low bids, what do the faces look like of the people sitting in the lounge room listening to the auction? Ugh. How do they feel? Emotionally just, oh, this is a hit, this is not good. When you go first, the person sitting across from you, they now have to work on getting you closer to them. When they go first, you have to work on moving them towards you. You create an advantage. My suggestion, if you find yourself in a negotiation situation, go first and go hard with what you want. The money thing does tend to rattle us. Quite often in negotiations, when someone says, I offer X amount of money, the normal response is, well, how about Y amount of money? It's usually a money response. An interesting way of getting control of this aspect of the relationship is when we move it away from money. Make the person justify why they've made that offer. It's an interesting thing that you've made, offer that you've made there. You might have to ask why. You might have to ask why. When an employee comes to you and asks for a pay rise, and say, I would like an extra $10,000 a year. $10,000 a year. I'd probably ask that too if I was in your position. Do you mind if I ask why you picked $10,000? We might be able to come up with a response that's not going to cost us money. We might be able to justify why we won't give the extra money or why we feel they should give us extra money. If we ask, do you mind if I ask why you made that offer? What's the thinking behind that? Giving them a logic response instead of a money response. Part of the problem is this conflict, which Ray mentioned before. This is such a big part of it. Is people think, I don't want to be the loser. And I know that as a salesperson, when you negotiate quite a bit, the person sitting across from you can be quite defensive because they think, well, this person does this all the time. Because I hardly ever do this. This is not cool. The worry about coming across, in a way that's going to cost them money or lose them in the negotiation. This relates back to the connecting, the relationship part that we started out talking. Everything seems to keep coming back, and there's a reason. If someone likes you, when you sit down to negotiate, it is better for you financially. It really is. Why? Because if they don't like you, it's easy for them to dig in and hang on to their convictions or dig in and make it about the money. But if they like you, they feel guilty if they don't acquiesce to some of your demands. The other thing is also actually saying the words, I want a win-win result out of this. I want us both to be happy. We have some salespeople, we have some business people who see negotiation as something, an opportunity to beat another human being, as an opportunity to make money, as an opportunity to smash the person sitting across from me. That is only good if you want to sell to that person once. That is only good if you never want to see that person again. Because when we win like that, even if we won right there, the person is going to come away thinking we're a bully or feeling bad about themselves or maybe think they should have done better. Just striving for the win in a negotiation is only good if you ever want to sell once. What we want is win-win. And sometimes just airing it out there makes the other person more relaxed and think, yeah, this is cool.